As I sit here with this crazy custom alien warrior diorama, my weird brain can only think of one thing. I wonder what alien meat tastes like. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, welcome to the Extreme Channel. We have an extreme collectible on the table. This is a custom 1/3 scale alien warrior diorama. So custom means it was a private unlicensed commission. Fox or Disney or whoever the hell owns aliens now did not sign off on this. That's why they only made a few of them. They only made 35. They're 1/3 scale, so 3 times smaller than a real life version of aliens. So if you've been watching the channel lately, you know that I've always been a huge alien fan and I've always owned alien statues. I've probably owned about 30 of them. And I've sold quite a few. However, recently I decided to go back in almost 100%, and this is part of that 100%. Now, in full transparency, you know, when it comes to aliens, you have the movie aliens, you have the comic aliens, you even have video game aliens now, I guess. I have this statue I recently reviewed that's from Fireteam Elite, and then you have original concepts. I don't know if this is an original concept or if it's from the comics. I tend to think it's from the movie Aliens, the second in the franchise, which I'm a huge fan of the Alien movies. I like them all. To an extent, some are a little blah. With Alien and Aliens obviously being my favorite. But I believe this is from Aliens. Super stoked to have this. And today we're going to dive into it. But before we do, I got to let you know, this is just one of probably about 15 Alien and or Predator statues arriving in the next year. So if you like stuff like this, make sure you've not only liked this video, but you've subbed to the channel and hit the bell notification. Secondly, I'm going to greatly evolve my alien collection in the display. So I recently did a room tour in the last few months. You can check it out right here. I'm not going to tell you guys yet, but the Alien and Predator display is going to take up a huge part of the collection. So you can get some teasers on my social media. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. The link for those is in the description below. Meanwhile, let's dive into this guy. We're going to do a full review, and I love it. I absolutely love it for so many different reasons. I was able to pull the trigger at the very last minute and add it to my aliens collection, and you're going to see why it's so great, starting with the concept. Now, as you can see, it's so big I can't fit it on the turntable, or at least display it properly for you. So there's going to be a few parts of the video that are different. Let's look at the base. I believe this is the Colonial Outpost LV-426. Again, I'm assuming this is from the movie. This is where they're at. Looks like there's a battle going on because you see some dead facehuggers. You see some of the green blood. One of the aliens is kind of lunging forward, ready to attack. You assume that either some colonists or some Marines are in front of them. His tail is posed to attack. The other one, more sinister, kind of lying in wait on top of this giant schematic, which if you remember was a part in the movie. It wasn't quite like this, and it actually lights up. We'll look at that during design. He's ready to pounce and attack up there with his tail ready. They look great. What I really love about this concept, along with the facehuggers, is that typically for a lot of the alien statues, you see the base like with a lot of the hive and the secretion and the eggs. You don't have any of that. So they're not in their element. They're moving forward. They're attacking. Gonna make some more alien babies with the facehuggers. So I love it. I think the concept's a 5 out of 5 because it's different. I think it's great because it's a diorama, but it doesn't have to be. We're going to talk about that in design, and knocked it out of the park. So let's look at the design aspects of this, starting with the assembly and the crazy 3 boxes it came in. As you suspect, 3 giant boxes. Had the custom black foam on the inside. The first one just had the screen in it, which was kind of weird. Then the second one had this layer right here, followed by a piece of the alien below. They were kind of mixed and matched in each one they were in. You can see it was packed extremely well with no issues. Here's the second base right here. Had some COAs and some cool cards with it. And the final pieces right here. So doesn't have any other display options. What you see is what you get with the exception of the light up feature. So it does light up. You can see the schematic right there. That is pretty cool. And here's a close-up of it not lit up, and then a picture of it lit up to kind of give you perspective. Now, the great thing about this, although you have to buy it as a diorama, it's actually 2 separate statues. So technically, you don't have to display them together, and if you do want to display them together, I'm just putting the option they had. While the bases are very similar, they don't interlock, so you can kind of display it however you want. I toyed with the idea of putting the back one kind of up the front there. I don't want to do it due to table space, but I'm going to have to figure out what it looks like in the display. Again, you can see that on social media. You probably saw during the assembly, due to fluctuations with polystone and resin, I had to use a hairdryer to get the other piece inserted. But everything arrived, nothing broken, and it fits really well. There's not really any bad seam lines. It's a big bitch. Now, the only way I know to measure this is measure them separately. So the crouching alien, if you will, is probably about 32 inches wide. And deep, you're looking at approximately 16 inches. And then height, yes, I'm wearing a polo with pajama pants, is about 32 to 33 inches. Height on the other piece is 27 maybe. Deep, 17. And then the widest part, 27 inches. So obviously takes up a ton of space. But again, you can kind of fashion how you're going to display it. And I think the scale is very accurate. Here's actually a picture of the head next to Prime 1 Studios 1/3 scale. Big chap. So you can see that they're pretty similar. You know, I like that one of them has the inner mouth coming out and the other one doesn't. It's kind of that sinister smile. So with design, I really can't find any flaws. I think it's incredibly elaborate. I give the design a 5 out of 5 as well. You know, it's interesting. I actually owned another piece by this custom commissioner. It was this giant AVP, and that had significant design issues. Not significant, but it had some design issues. I no longer own it, but looks like they learned from some of their mistakes, and it's perfect here. This particular studio, they like to do factory paint, which is what I have, and then sometimes you can do a master painter. I know the factory paint on that AVP piece wasn't bad, it just wasn't amazing. And as I took this out of the box, I had some initial concerns. I don't now. While I've seen better, it's still pretty good. Check it out. All right, really 3 parts to look at: the base, the face huggers, and the alien. So base looks good. There's actually a lot of battle damage back here that you can see. Again, I don't have the turntable. But I like the different colors they use. There's almost a little bit of green that you see in there that gives you a kind of a reflection off the aliens. The coils and hoses and wires makes you feel like it's on that platform of that colonial outpost. I think it looks good. There's some scarring, not necessarily from the battle of the aliens, but just regular use of the outpost. The terraformers. The face huggers. I think the sculpt is fantastic on the face huggers. There's something about the paint. While it's done really well, I mean, look at the difference between the nail and the knuckle there, and even some of the pink on the underside. Maybe it's too light or not light enough. The shade of brown is a little bit off. It still looks really good though. I love the pose of these. The acidic blood, I think it's too light. I like how it's melting into the ground below it. That's a pretty cool detail in my opinion. The schematic looks amazing, by the way, especially with the light up feature on. And then we come to the aliens. So the aliens, obviously the star of the show. There's a lot of mix of brown in the alien, which initially when I was pulling it out of the box, I wasn't a fan of, but I really like that. So these aliens, I've always loved the design of aliens. You know, it's this like biomechanical, organic living thing, you know, from the tubes and hoses that go up and down. And unfortunately, I'm not getting the best light on these, but they look great. They really do. Look at those teeth. The appendages on the side. Has a nice gloss on it that's not too slimy, but it makes it pop. Has the inner mouth open. You typically don't see the inner mouth open on that. I like that that's different. There's so much detail on these aliens. I could really look at them for a long time, but honestly, it's pretty impressive. An interesting part is, as I was assembling each of the pieces, you saw that, I wasn't as happy with the paint, but all assembled, I really, really am. I think the sculpt is phenomenal. And just a fantastic job with the paint. Here's kind of the underside back there, the ridges on the tail. Fantastic job. So one of the hard parts about grading paint and sculpt is, do you do the base separate from the alien? Do you do the face hugger separate like we talked about? I think overall, I'm going to give the paint a 3 out of 5, which is good. It's what you expect, what you pay for. Sculpt, I think much better. Alien is amazing, 4 out of 5. Interesting, some of the damage on the base. I recognize the sculptor. I've owned a lot of his pieces. I probably own about 100. In fact, I did a countdown of my favorite pieces from this sculptor back in the day. Video right here you can check out. Value. So $2,500, and then shipping was quite a bit, as you can imagine. I think it was $500 or $600, but $2,500 for all of this. Now, typically, a 1/3 scale alien piece ranges anywhere from $1,200 to $2,500 for one. Here you get 2. They only made 35 of these. They're great. I think the value is a 4 out of 5. This is fantastic. This is a great piece. Really, really love it. Yeah, I mean, I for once in my life, I'm almost without words. Does this have the X factor? Is this a 5 out of 5 statue overall? Of course it is. This is awesome. This is amazing. I'm so glad I was able to nab the last one. Fantastic piece. I hope they make more. It's typically slow when they make projects, so it might be another few years, which I may not be into Alien then, but I really hope they do. What do you guys think? Where does this stand up against the other Alien pieces? Throw that down in the comments below, because you could win a statue. Not this one, though. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to the creators of this. I love it. Like I said, I look forward to seeing more. Hey, please, if you haven't subscribed, it's free and easy. Hit that subscribe button. It'll get us to our next giveaway, and make sure to hit the like on your way out. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.